Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Trollatory here, and this is the second episode on what, is my special about Canada, because I know some of you guys didn't know I was actually Canadian. So, here we go. This is part 2, things Americans should know about Canada, and this is kind of like a general, say, hey, you know what, this is, some things you need to know before you come up here. And so, first, I touched actually a lot of these on the first part where it was typical Canadian stereotypes. So hockey is not played by everyone, only people who can actually afford it because it's very expensive. It does not snow here during the summer. It does, it does not snow, let's say, along the border. Maybe a little, there is snow here all year if you go way, way, way up north. There is snow, but it's not to the extent that you're thinking where it's constantly snowing in the middle of July, where as soon as you cross into Canada, it's instantly snowing. It's not like that. When you see a Canadian weather map and you see it put, you'll see 18 degrees or something in the summer, and you think, wow, that's really cold, because that is cold in the States. That's extremely cold in Fahrenheit. But we use a system called Celsius. Now, 32 degrees Fahrenheit is freezing level, and it was when water freezes in the States. That's 0 degrees for us. So, it makes sense. So then, you say -1. Okay, well, that's obviously below freezing. Or you say +1. Well, that's above freezing. Still cold. It's like saying 33, 32 Fahrenheit. So, the conversion for that is if you want to know. So if you have, I know for Canada is if you want to figure out what it is in Fahrenheit, you double the number and add 30. That's the rough rule of thumb. So if I had, say, 20 degrees, I double it, get 40, add 30, it's about 70 degrees in the States. That's the equivalence. We are the second largest country in the world next to Russia. That means that not only do we have as much land as you guys, but we also have more, a lot more. There is a lot of us here, and a lot of room, and a lot of empty space. We have about 35 million people in the country. So, that's a tenth of the population of the States. So for every 10 Americans you see, think 1 Canadian. So we're not same size, however, it's not saying 10 Americans equals 1 Canadian, but 10 Americans per 1 Canadian on this continent. So, the next thing, Canada was first in World War I and World War II. Not because World War I we didn't have much of a choice, but World War II we were there in first. So next time, I know war heroes are great no matter what country they come from. All veterans, no matter what country, they're fantastic. You cannot give them enough respect. But, Canada was there first. Sure, the Americans did great, but Canada was there first. And we did conquer more land on D-Day. We got farther inland and took more captives than any other army, including the British, the French, the Russians, the Belgians, any other country. So there's that. Our dollar is actually at this point worth the same amount as the American dollar. And in fact, as today, at the time of this recording, it's actually worth about 1 cent more. So if I took $1, I would get $1 and 1 cent American. That's what you're looking at. There's 35 million people in the country. And getting back to the population, 90% of us, 90% of Canadians, so that's 31.5 million people, live within 100 miles of the American border. So that's huge. That's putting a band of to put 31.5 million people in a band of 100 miles of one line, and that's what you're looking at. So, apologize here, this is Host Migration, not a separate game coming up. So, there's that. Also, oh geez, I just lost my page. There we go. We use the metric system to convert things, and it's a lot easier to convert. So it's not saying how many feet are in a mile, or how you get some 5,000 number, or how many inches are in a foot, which is 12. But we use the metric system, which is centimeters. So 100 centimeters equals 1 meter. 1,000 meters equals 1 kilometer, and you know, other things like that. So it's the same with liters, milliliters. It's all multiples of 10. Now, when you go into chemistry, like if any of you guys study chemistry after you're finished high school, you're probably going to be learning the metric system, which is the easiest way to convert things. Canada became a country on July 1st, 1867. Just so happened to be the day. We weren't trying to get it to July 4th and steal your day. It just so happened to be that day. You Americans have troops stationed here. You are actually here on our soil in numerous bases. We go and we work with you guys, and you work with us, and we get the whole 9 yards done. And there's actually a place in the most farther northern tip of Canada is called Alert. Now, the reason why it's called Alert is because the Americans thought it would be a good idea, which it was, to station radar stations all up along the Canadian North, just in case the Soviets decided to come over the top, over the North Pole, and through Canada, that we'd have Alert. So you guys still stationed there. We're part of NATO. We're part of all these things. And speaking of the up north, only the farthest north Inuit people, the native people that were here first, actually live in igloos. None of us live in it. Like, I'm living in a nice house right now. The house that you would find in any American town or any American city. It's the same thing. Also, you may not know this, but you know, you guys are going, like, fighting the war in Iraq and Afghanistan. You're getting you're fighting for the oil over there. We're actually, you know, supplying a vast majority of your oil. Like, we have a lot of oil that you guys, you know, seem to not want, but we sell to you anyways. And you guys have a lot closer relationship. Like, you think, oh, Canada, we don't have to worry about them. Oh, yes, you do. We're not the biggest economic power in the world, but you know what? We are still a vital ally to you guys. And, you know, we're not boring. It's not a boring place. There's not only one road. There's not such and such, and, you know, the boring old things that you hear about Canada. We're actually very exciting. We have riots. You know, we're not, you know, we're peaceful, but we do get, when we get mad about something, oh, we rally around. I've not personally been a part of the riot, just saying, but that's the thing. So, anyways, thanks so much for watching, guys. This is the final episode of my special about Canada. If you have any more questions about Canada or Canadian culture, leave it down in the comments. I'll be sure to answer them. But if you like this series or like the video or like what you see, hit that subscribe button and that like button. It really helps me out. Anyways, thanks so much for watching, guys. My name is Trollatory. Have a nice day from Canada.